rundown on what the logic die is. It's just a tool. It's just an educational tool. That's all it is. All right. Each side teaches you a lesson. It's called a mnemonic device because mnemonics are anything that trigger your brain and cause you to remember something. So side 6 teaches you something. Side 1 teaches you something. This is different than most dies because it has 7 sides instead of 6 sides. We count the inside as a 7th side. You can't see the inside, but you know it's there. It's who you and I are on the inside that counts. If we're going to change your life, we change your life from the inside out. That's where everything starts at, even though people judge us from the outside. On the outside, 6 just teaches us to do our best. And how do we do our best? By focusing on one thing at a time. Every time that we've ever done our best is because we've been focused. Any one thing we focus on, we know there's 2 sides. There's what we know and what we don't know. So we can't have a closed mind. We have to have an open mind. Ben Franklin used to take a sheet of paper and divide it in half. He looked at the pros and the cons. Okay. We can look and see how something affects us short term, how it affects us long term, what the cost is, what the benefit is. Is this wise? Is this foolish? Okay. Is this, right, or is this wrong? And so any one thing that we want to do our best on, we can begin to break it down and ask ourselves questions. And 3, we're right here in the middle. We're going to talk to this person, get some outside advice, and that person's going to be gone. We're going to talk to this person, get some outside advice, and that person's going to be gone. But now we know what this person knows about that one thing we want to do best on. And we know what this person knows about that one thing that we want to do our best on. The scriptures tells us there's safety in the multitude of counselors. And then the next lesson, there's a bunch of P lessons that we teach before we teach side 4. The P lessons, one of the powerful ones is first that our brain thinks in pictures. Everything we do, we picture it before we do it. Okay. And then, so if we want to accomplish something, we go to our paper and pencil, which is our double P lessons, paper and pencil. And it's really the moment that we take a sheet of paper and a pencil and we begin to write down our ideas or our thoughts. We begin to plan what we are doing, that we can begin to move forward. And side 4 is about taking our plans, okay, all that stuff we wrote down in paper and put it into 4 categories, okay? The bottom category right here is the trash, okay? Sometimes you get advice from people and it's bad advice, okay? Sometimes you have some ideas and it's bad advice, bad idea. You just have to get rid of it. The top pile is our doable pile. It's the things that we know that we can do right now based on the resources we presently have. We don't have to have anything else. It's the things that we know we can do right now. Over here is our possible pile. It's possible if I had 500,000 shillings, if I had a pickup truck, if I had paint, if I had this, if I had that, all the things that you can do if, okay? You're lacking that one thing. What we have to do on side 4 is we identify the if, what the if is, what's standing in our way. And then in the word if, I stands for me, I, okay, and the F stands for focus. We just run through whatever we're missing through the 1, 2, 3 thinking process, and we will figure out how to solve that problem. In other words, if I have 500,000 shillings, well, how do I get 500,000 shillings? So you begin to work through that process. As soon as you have those shillings, then you can move from the possible pile to the doable pile, and you can go ahead and do it. You can get that job done, right? Over here is like the impossible pile, but nothing's really impossible. It's just really big, right? It's a really big vision. And so it's the things that we have to block time and we have to sit down and we have to think about, okay? We have to come up, well, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, once we can figure out the plan in our minds, we can come up with the things that we are standing in our way, then we can begin to do the doable to get rid of one if at a time until it's all done. Inside 5 is like a wheel that turns like this. Every time we mark something off our to-do list, boom, we turn a notch. Get something else done, boom, we turn another notch. Get something else done, we turn another notch. We know that most things that we try to solve, most problems that we're dealing with, if we just do this and this and this and this, we'll probably maybe that, then we'll be done. We'll get it accomplished. So it's just a matter of it's a thinking process, just to think through any challenge that we might have before we get in there. All right, guys, free courses. We love free courses, and we will be loading up some additional courses, I'm sure, on our communication skills. I just want to talk about the one that really strikes me, and I think it's the most important to us, is our ability to be good what? Listeners, right? Good listeners. It's when we become good listeners that we can begin to understand where the other person is at. And it will help us to be able to get our message across, and also to understand, does the other person know where we're coming from? Okay. So as we become good listeners, and the other thing that really struck me, and it's so very important, is our written skills. When you write something, it is always wise to set it aside, give it a little bit of time, whether that's a half hour or whether that's a day, depending on how you're feeling emotionally, especially if you're upset about something. Okay. You really need to take a look at that and ponder, or if it's a very important letter, you want to make sure that you give yourself a second time to sort of look at it. And when you are proofreading what you write, because you really want to be careful on what you write, as you're proofreading it, read it out loud so you can hear yourself, okay, reading that letter, that communications. Many times I will have read something, and in my mind, I'm saying the word that's not even in there, because in my mind, I think it's in there, okay, because, it was there. But read stuff out loud. Now, I want to introduce to you a lady I wish I actually knew better, Miss Kara. She is really the reason that all of this here in Uganda exists. I mean, it was her opening up the doors, and us going on to mission trips to Uganda and visiting there. She just opened up so many doors. There's so many great things going on since the time that she was here and introduced that. So I'm really excited about hearing that. She sort of got stuck. She decided to marry one of you guys. So she's really Ugandan. So Miss Kara, the stage is all yours. I appreciate you coming and sharing. Unmute yourself and go right ahead.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I'm so humbled and honored and excited to join you guys. Simon sings your praises all the time about all this logic die, and I'm like, I need to learn about this, and understand, what it is. But it's even though we're not teaching the same thing, we're essentially teaching the same thing minus the dice, and right. So that is so exciting. And so my topic, when Connor asked me to speak, the first thing that came to my mind was how to build community and how to build relationship, because essentially that is our mandate. That is what we are doing right now. And so, like Stan said, I've been in Uganda now since 2005 was my first time coming. And I've just been coming ever since. I married a Ugandan. I'm a Machala Malindwa, so I'm a Ugandan wife. So I have 3 beautiful children. I have 67 children from the north and 456 students up in Otichi village that Simon oversees. And so I consider myself more Ugandan than Canadian now. So we love Uganda. Our heart is to see Uganda prosper. And, for over 15 years now, I've been prophesying that Uganda is going to be the head, not the tail, and that God is going to do an amazing work in Uganda. So you're gonna have to excuse my voice. It's kind of not great right now. I got a little bit of a cold going on, but we're going to try our best. And so, the number one thing when building communities is that you have to have a strong leadership team. If you don't have a strong leadership team, the whole thing will fail. You have to find people that you can work with, you can partner with, that have the same vision as you, that are not wanting to compete with you. As soon as you have a spirit of confrontation and strife, then it's not going to work. And so you need a strong leader, somebody that can be appointed as the leader. If you can't have 6 leaders, it doesn't work that way. And so you can have a leadership team, but one person that is overseeing everything that you do, who can be strong in conflict management, who can handle a lot of stress, who can work well with other people. And so for us, that is Simon Okima, who's on here. He's our project manager. He oversees pretty much everything that we do in Uganda. The second thing in building a strong community is accountability. If you don't have accountability, I've been around Uganda enough. I've worked with a number of multi-million-dollar ministries there. I've worked with government officials. I've worked with Robert Kayanja. I've worked with, numerous different well-known figures in Uganda. And you know as well as I do that if you don't have integrity, things will fall apart. People, I've seen people, send hundreds of thousands of dollars to Uganda, and the local people get, a couple thousand, and the person leading it, they'll say, well, a bag of beans costs, 1 million shillings, and the average Mzungu doesn't know the cost. And, they're building themselves a mansion in Entebbe or in Jinja, and the people are still being poor. And so for me, accountability and integrity is absolutely crucial. I make sure with Simon that every month I have a report of what's going on, a report of what livestock we have, what's happening with the farming, what kids are in school. He has to take pictures of everything that was purchased as well as a receipt. And so, so far, thanks be to God, we've never had a dollar go missing from our organization. Not $1 has ever gone missing. And so for that, we're grateful. And so accountability and integrity is huge. So whoever you have on your team, you have to be able to trust them. If you don't have trust, you don't have a team. And so, that was kind of the start, was just developing our team. Who can I work with? Who can I trust? I had, when God gave me this passion or this vision, I had 67 orphans or, kids that lived with us. I don't like to call them orphans. They're not orphans. They're adopted by us. They're our sons and daughters. And who do you choose out of 67? And so I sat back for, almost a year before making a decision. And I just watched. And that was hard. I'm a go-getter. I'm a fiery person. I don't like to sit and wait. But I watched for a year, and I watched, Christopher, I watched Simon, I watched a bunch of these different guys that we had at our orphanage, Jimmy, Alice, a bunch of them. And I just watched for a year. I watched, when there was chores to be done, who was the first to volunteer? When there was a situation, who was the peacekeeper? When there was, church, who was in church? I watched all of those different things, and God just kept highlighting Simon to us over and over and over again, that he possessed the right qualities we needed, that we could trust to be in leadership. And so that's kind of how it all got started. And a willingness to work as a team. You have to have a people who are willing to work as a team. It can't be an I thing. We currently have, let's see, I think about 8 staff, full-time staff. I have 6 teachers, Simon, who's our project manager. I have a farmer, I have 2 cooks. I have an accountant, that works for us. And our staff is growing every month. We seem to be hiring somebody. And so it's growing, and you need people that are willing to work. You may have heard of Vision for Africa run by Maria Preen. I had the privilege of living with this lady for a year when we first got married. And, she told me, she said she has a phenomenal children's home and a phenomenal ministry within Uganda. She cares for over 1 million children in Uganda. And I'm like, how do you do it? Like, how do you not have money go missing? How do you have, when I'm saying children's home, it's not like an average Uganda orphanage. She has basketball courts and, a mechanic school, a dentistry school. This woman, it's phenomenal. And she started with $350,000 that she got from a settlement when her husband passed away. And she said, the first time that you have to fire somebody, she said, do it very publicly. And I was like, wow, that doesn't sound like very good character to me. And she said, the very first time that you have to do that, you'll never have a problem again. And so I took her advice. We had a teacher that we hired, and within a few months, she was beating our students. She was caning them, and money was going missing, and our toys and different things we had brought for our preschool were going missing. And so I fired her in front of the whole entire village. And from that moment on, we never, ever had a problem. We never had $1 go missing. And so you need a people that are going to be on the same wavelength, that want to build together. Sorry about the background noise. I'm at a kids camp and they're all heading out to their first activity. So please excuse that for just a moment. And as far as working as a team, if I'm willing to do my part and my neighbor is willing to do their part, and if everybody's willing to do their part, it comes together as a full circle. And so, you know, if a lot of the mindset that I've seen in Uganda over the years is, you know, for me, myself, and I, and it's, you know, rather than community, it's if I can just succeed, or if I can just, you know, do my own thing, then I'm going to be okay. And there's not so much care about your neighbor. But as far as building communities and villages, our heart is to establish one village at a time, and to have it become completely self-sufficient. That's my mandate. And so God obviously placed us in Otichi village up in northern Gulu for our first project. And, you know, I never thought it would grow to be, you know, where it's at. I never thought, like, in my wildest imagination. But we have a strong team, and every person on the team in the whole village. Now, if you can manage to get a whole village to unite for a same cause, you know, so we have one person that's in charge of the farming. That farming feeds a whole entire village, not just a family. So we feed close to 1,000 people every single day. Nobody goes hungry. We've built 2 wells now in that village. Not one person has got typhoid. Not one person has got sick from a waterborne illness. We just, like a week ago, I think, installed our very first solar pump. So the water just flows. You don't have to pump it anymore. You know, and we have a nurse, we have a clinic that we started. And so everybody gets free healthcare. You know, I pay the nurse and everybody gets free healthcare, which is, I mean, that's unheard of in Uganda. You know, we have free education as well, which is also unheard of. At first we were paying school fees for a ton of kids, and we're like, you know what, this isn't working. We're going to go bankrupt. And so instead of paying a bunch of school fees, the problem that we solved was to hire our own teachers and build our own schools. And so, you know, that's what we did. We started building schools. We now have 3 schools. We built churches in the communities, and self-sufficient farming. We have beekeeping, and we've recently just started planting 20 acres of coffee, which will bring in close to $90,000 a year after the 3rd year. So $90,000 American, that's not small money. And that's going to help several villages now become self-sufficient. And so everybody in this whole village has worked together, from the grandmas to the children. And it's like they're all working together for one cause. So not just one person is getting wealthy, not one person is just getting rich, but the whole village is getting rich. And we've actually got attention from government officials, from major key leaders in Uganda. Museve's wife has heard about what we're doing. And she is just ecstatic about seeing what we've done. When we started this project I guess it's been 4 years now since we started this. There was nothing in Otichi. There was no clean water. There was no infrastructure. It was mud huts and poverty. I mean, extreme poverty, extreme famine. You know, when I came and asked Simon, I said, what did you have for Christmas dinner? He had eaten a squirrel that day for food. And so just very malnutritioned kids. And within 3 years, they're all thriving. And so, you know, our goal is a lot what Stan said about the logic die and, you know, problem solving, what's working, what's not working. And so we're still in the process of figuring out right now what works and what doesn't work. But number 1 is strong leadership. Number 2 is accountability and integrity. If you don't have an accountability and integrity, you don't have a project. Documentation of everything, because in a year's time, I hope to be out of Otichi village and start something maybe in Masaka or another village, you know, somewhere. And so I'm trying to create a model that is working, and then we're going to replicate this model over and over and over again. Willingness to work as a team. We already talked about that. Common goals and communication is key. If you don't have communication, you have nothing. I talk to Simon on the phone sometimes several times a day. And, you know, it doesn't work for everyone to call me. right? So it has to go down. So I communicate with Simon. Then Simon communicates with the teachers. The head teacher will communicate with the other teachers. And those other teachers will communicate with their classes. I'll communicate to Simon. He'll communicate to the farmer. The farmer will communicate to the laborers, right? I can't handle everything. You can't be in charge of everything or you'll get overwhelmed. And so, you know, you have to have different departments and, you know, same thing with the beekeeping, whatever project it is that we're doing, the goats, the chickens, we have a ton of different farming, agriculture projects. I communicate with Simon. Simon communicates with Walter, who's our head farmer. Walter communicates with the laborer. Same thing with building the school. You know, if I need money, I'll communicate to my team. Simon will call me and say, Mom, I need money. I'll communicate to my team. My team will raise the money and I'll give it to Simon. Simon knows that he's not to call my team members and say, hey, I need money. He comes to me. And that way everything is streamlined. I love how Brother Conrad, you know, talked about financial goals and setting goals. We need to set goals, both short-term and long-term. Because obviously, if God told me 5 years ago, Carrie, you were going to raise a village up, you were going to build schools and hospitals and farming, I'd be like, God, have you seen my bank account? Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. My husband's a computer engineer. You know, he makes okay money that we can survive, but at the end of the month, it's just barely enough, you know? And so I'm like, how are we going to do this? But God spoke to me when he said, Kira, do you have faith for $1? You know? Or maybe that for you, that's 5,000 shillings. And I was like, okay, God, I have faith for that. And that's how I built this. It was literally $1 at a time, one brick at a time. I asked my friends on Facebook, you know, if you put out a budget, even to Mzungus, and say, I need, you know, 2 million shillings to build this church, or $2 million to build a shop, or $2 million to build a photography studio, it's overwhelming, you know. But if you can get, you know, 10 of your friends to give you 5,000 shillings, you're that further ahead. And so for me, it was baby steps. I'm like, okay, I have faith for $1. And that's all I had faith for. And so I started with $1 and I found out I could get 6 bricks made for $1. And so every time I got like $1, I would send Simon, okay, build 6 more bricks, 6 more bricks, 6 more bricks, until now we have 3 full functioning schools. We teach up to grade 7 currently. And so our P7 is where we're going to. We're going to teach all the way up to grade 12. Senior 7, I think, is what you guys call it, within our village, and nobody has to pay for school fees. And so the farming pays for the schooling, the coffee pays for the school fees. And so by having those extra projects, it funds the main project, little projects, you know. And so that's how we did it, is $1 at a time. Because if, you know, if Simon came to me and said, Mom, this is going to cost you $100,000, I would have been like, forget it. I don't have the money. But we started small, and now we're running a $100,000 project. That's probably what we've invested right now is about $100,000. And that's built a clinic, 3 schools, farming. We have chickens, we have goats, we have pigs, we have bees. And obviously local foods like cassava, beans, you know, matoke. We have a fruit plantation that we've started. And so everybody is working in their own department within the whole village. So nobody's sitting at home doing nothing. Everybody has a job. And everybody contributes to make it work. For lack of better words, Stan and Angela would probably understand this more than you guys, but in North America, we have what we call like Amish colonies or Hutterite colonies. And that's kind of the logic that I've been using, is if everybody does something and everybody has a job, the whole community will benefit and become wealthy. And so set financial goals, have a good budget, a realistic budget, and start with a little bit that you have. You know, every dollar that you have, save it. Also, I really believe in tithing. I really believe in, you know, giving 10% of whatever comes into our projects. We tithe it. I give it back to God. And I mean, I've learned that I cannot give out God. I cannot outgive God. I just can't. I mean, I know this isn't like a preaching moment and I'm not going to turn it into that, but you legit cannot outgive God. you know, and so I've learned that I always give 10% of whatever comes in, I tithe that. You know, our vision is when love makes a way. And, you know, I really believe in discipling the one. And God put Simon in my life. And I believe if I disciple Simon, you know, I raise him up to be a good leader. Then Simon, he has his 12 that are under him. And with those 12, he's discipled them, he's mentored them, he's taught them about good leadership. And those 12 have taught leadership to the whole village. And I believe that village now is changing that region. And that region is going to change that city of Gulu. And the city of Gulu is going to change, you know, all of Eastern Africa. And all of Eastern Africa is going to change all of Africa in general. And all of Africa is going to change the world. I really believe that. And it's starting with one and investing into that one person, your one person you can trust, and have them build up teams. And I mean, legit, I mean, I can't give all the details because I'm under a non-disclosure agreement with the US government right now, but I just took a position where, you know, I'm going to be able to fund a lot of different projects, but what we're doing is getting attention from the government of the United States. They are seeing that this little project that we started within 3 years has completely ended poverty in a region. That education has completely, kids are going to school for free. Education is key. If you don't have education, you know, that is why I believe Musevi has charged for education. I mean, I understand the poverty, but if you can keep the people suppressed and not having knowledge, they're always going to stay suppressed without knowledge. But when you have knowledge and you have wisdom and you have education, you can't suppress them anymore. They're going to be free and they're going to develop and they're going to expand. And so as people develop and they expand, they're free. And that's how poverty is going to end in Uganda, is through education. And so we're literally getting attention from the US government. They said, you know, we've spent billions and billions of dollars funding World Vision and, you know, Food for the Hungry and all of these nonprofit organizations. And we have never seen the results in 75 years that we're seeing within your ministry in 3 years. And so, you know, I mean, for me, that's pretty humbling when the United States government is calling me and saying, wow, like, we want to do what you're doing. We want to use your model. And so the US government wants to use our model now of what we're doing to help one village at a time become completely self-sufficient within 3 years. And then, you know, once we're done in Otichu, we've already bought land or been given land. We were given another 20 acres about 20 kilometers away. We're going to start the same thing. And then we're going to go to Masaka and start the same thing. And then we're going to go out to villages by Jinja, same thing. And we're going to take Uganda first. And then eventually we'll move into Kenya and Sudan and Cameroon and Morocco and wherever. So eventually it's going to just be all over Africa, because I believe that Africa, you guys have all the right tools. You just have a lack of education and understanding. And, you know, I love what Stan and Angela are teaching you guys, because if you have education, if you can, you know, go through the process and be like, what is going to work, and run with it and start small, you know? I mean, I never ever thought, my very first project I ever did was building a playground. I was like, man, the kids in Uganda, they work hard, they haul water, they go to school, they don't get to be kids. When do they get to be kids? And so for me, it was after we had a flash flood and 2 twins died in a culvert by my compound, and it broke my heart. And I was like, God, what can I do for these people? And my very first thing was building a playground. I built a playground for kids to come play. And, you know, I never thought, when God spoke to me and said, Kier, would you build a preschool in Simon's Village? I never thought we'd be teaching up to grade 12 or senior 7, and right now we have 456 students. By the end of the next 2 years, we're gonna have probably well over 1,000 students, you know, going through the whole entire program. And so that's a little bit about what we've done. You know, I hope that something I've said has encouraged you guys to, nothing is impossible. Have a goal, write it down, you know, write it down what you want to do, and just baby steps. Don't get overwhelmed. If you want to build a hospital, or you want to build a church, or you want to build a business, you know, or a multi-billion-dollar business in Uganda, whatever it is you want to do, start with your $1 and say, what can I do with this $1? For me, my $1 built 6 bricks. And with those 6 bricks, we built, schools and a hospital and, a kitchen and I don't even know what else we're doing out there. It's getting crazy, but I don't know. Simon, do you want to add anything at all about
Sure.
what we've done for just a moment?
Sure. I'm really excited today to see my mom sharing all this. And, I've been telling Mr. Stan a lot about mom, and you guys have been in communication, and, I'm just so happy. All these things happening, teaching, it's because, whatever comes in, I did for the right thing. So if I was not, trustworthy, all these things, the mom is talking about, we would not see them. But like every time, these things comes in, and, we have always been doing this. Sometimes, Mr. Stan, you have always been there with us, and we have just started, and, within 3 years, we are somewhere. And actually here in Uganda, the government officials, they always appreciate what we are doing. When I talk to them about, opening up road leading to the school, within a short period of time, they were able to do this. It's just because, we are always giving them, we are doing the right thing. We are giving free education to all these kids who are coming to school, and which is not happening here in Uganda. And it really makes me happy. Like me, throughout my education, I've been getting different people helping me in school. So when my village is being supported like that, giving these children access to education, it really makes my heart so happy. And through Mr. Stan, we have always been, through your teaching, I started knowing him better in 2014. And through reading one of his books, Doing the Impossible. So that really changed a lot. It really changed me, and because of some of the things that I've been doing it because I read his book, and I put them into practice, and things are really happening. So that's what I can tell you. I've always been sharing with you guys about what is happening here in our village, and I'm happy that my mom has, she has been able to come here today and confirm to you what is happening. I've been sending Mr. Stan lots of photos of what is happening. So that's briefly what what I can share. I know with time, Mr. Stan, you'll be able to stand with us too. I'm believing that, God is going to open doors and you'll be able to step in and help us out. So that's what I can share. I'm really excited today. It's our first time. It's our first time, to share with us, like in this meeting. So I'm happy. That's what I can share.
Well, thank you, Simon and Kara. I'm sure some of y'all have questions for Kara. So if you have a question, just go ahead and put your hand up or unmute yourself, and we'll call. Okay, Pastor Christopher, I see you have a question. Go ahead.
I'm very excited about our speech. And right now, as he has talked about sharing with Maria, and now this is where the compound I'm standing, because I am too, I'm volunteering with Mama Maria, the lady who ran children ministry in Vision for Africa, Mukono. And right now here at the compound, you see the progress of the building. And this is how God is faithful when you begin something little, and God will really multiply. So this is a compound. I've been called a few months ago to be part of the children ministry team, to take care of the orphan in one of the children home. And you guys, I saw you one of the house, and you see these are orphan running around. So me as a spiritual father to them, I take care of their life, and this is a place. So what she's talking about is really very true. The compound is really very big, and you look down there is a nursery school. It's something like a big project. So when you begin something with a little, God really will entrust you with much. So I agree with our statement. If you talk to Mama Maria, she never begin with something big. She begin with something small. With a little you have, you need to begin running the thing. while fully trusting in God. So when I came to join this part of the ministry as a disciple maker, they have been giving me to teach people the Bible in a small group. They have talked about entrusting Simon to around 10 leaders. Me, in the first time when I came here at Vision for Africa, the first class which I taught through the Bible, there were like 18 to 19 people. Later on, then we sent them another team to Ginger, then another team, they went to Moroto. So this method of discipleship is really work. I'm a disciple maker. So I've been making a disciples almost like for now 6 years, because I do remember when we are still in the high school, Simon is the one who led me to Christ. But when I left the school is when I joined the Bible school, and really God has called me. Now through discipleship making, now the ministry and trusted me to be as one of the papa in the children home in the Vision for Africa. Thank you so much. That is a powerful message. You have really encouraged us. Thank you. And thank you, Brother Simon. Keep it up.
Thank you, Pastor Christopher. Appreciate you sharing. DL, I see you unmuted yourself there. You have something you want to say?
Yes, thank you. I am called David Okema. Simon is my namesake, is also called Okema.
Yes.
I'm so really grateful to hear from our mom tonight, because I met Simon Okema in 2017 when I'd gone to Israel to preach the word of God in
No, we lost him.
one of the Israel, and I got to everything that's going on, how he had been encouraging and connecting children to go to school and study. And I think the most important thing is to teach them, the children, so that they can know what they're going for. Because not just for the sake of taking them there. I heard Mama talk about setting a goal. It's really very important, because when you teach the children the goal, when they go to school, they know what they're going for. And then I really appreciate also Brother Simon Okema, because he told me he was also there in the school and he had been encouraging the children. And I was able to talk to some of the children who were benefiting from the project, and encourage them, God fearing and focus, study, not to drop out, not to go join the school and then later a few years you're dropping out of school. And we're encouraging them to at least teach them the Bible, as one of the pastors said, because when you teach them the Bible, it will help them to keep the discipline and the moral, and then help them to stay focused, so that the project has a good outcome. Because if you gather children and then later they study, they drop out, or they disappear without achieving the goal, it is really not good. But 6 years ago is when I met Brother Simon, and he told me about this mama who has been running this project, but I've never met her physically because of the nature of my job. I'm working with the government. Most of the time I be at the workplace. I do the ministry of God during my leave, or maybe when I've gone home for some holidays. For some leave is when I really do the district in the villages, meeting children and born again Christians, because I love the ministry of God so much. So I really want to thank all of the participants and Mama for what you have done. In fact, the strategy is very good. The strategy is very good, and I was able to learn a lot of things. Tonight again, because I've been taking notes. I took a lot of notes now from Mama. I took a lot of notes, and I've learned a lot of things, and they're going to help me out in as far as this thing and development is concerned, changing the community, changing our lives, changing the community, and then changing the region, and if possible, changing the world. Thank you.
Amen.
God bless you.
And it's
Thank
possible.
you, DL.
One thing I just wanted to add really quick, if I can, that he just reminded me of, is like, when people ask me, like, the number one question I get asked, whether it's preaching or whether it's educationally wise, what am I supposed to do with my life? Everybody wants to know what their purpose is. Why am I here on earth? What is my purpose? And I always tell people, what's the first thing that you think of when you get up in the morning, and the last thing that you think of when you go to bed at night? You know, if that one thing got taken away from you, what would it be? And I'm like, for me, I love people, and that's how I knew what like my passion was, and helping people succeed. And I'm like, we changed our name of our ministry a couple of years ago from Unquenchable Ministries to Love Made a Way Ministries, because it's like, you know, I just love people. I love people. I'm like, if I didn't have people in my life, I would die. Like I could never be a hermit. I could never be a monk. I could never be a nun. Like I'm like, I have to be around people all the time. And it's what feeds me, you know? And so if the first thing that you think of when you wake up in the morning is business and how am I going to start this business and how, you know, is all you think about, that's what God has called you to do. That is your purpose. That is your plan. Not everybody's meant to be a pastor. Not everybody's meant to be, you know, a missionary. Not everybody's meant. God has created businesses. He's given you a mind, you know, like Pastor or like Stan said, you have a mind. And so, you know, when you're asking, what is my purpose? What is my plan here? Why am I on earth? What is the one thing that drives you that you could not live without? And that is how you're going to find out what your destiny is, what you're called to do.
Thank you very much. Having a purpose-driven life is so critical. Eddie Jack, I see you have your hand up. You got a question for Kara, comment to make?
No,
You're
she's
still
still muted.
muted there, Eddie.
Good evening, everyone. You people can hear me?
Yes.
My network is always having issues. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you. Go ahead and talk to us.
Yeah, the first video that I saw that was casted here, one thing for sure that that was really true, and what I learned is that before you send something, well, let's say you're writing like a proposal, like a business proposal, like a CV or like an application, like where you said you have to really first go through before you send. That is really true because what I know is that I've done several mistakes before. Most times when you're in hurry, you just type something and before you have read through, it has gone, you have messed up and you really cannot do anything. Then it's called Akira. I'm so happy to hear what you shared, what you've really done for Uganda and the plans you have for Africa. I'm really surprised to find that one person from diaspora can really come to the country and make a change within the shortest time possible. Government officials cannot do, yet they receive millions and millions of dollars from the United States government. So I'm really happy and grateful. And another thing, one thing I have to say is that a humble beginning is always the best.
Yes.
What I know is that if you start small, you're consistent, you're patient with time, everything can really yield. The way I started, things were so terrible. Things were very, very terrible. People know my story. When I think about it, I don't really want to go back, but it was terrible. It was terrible. But right now we are somewhere. We have a lot of things that we have to do that can really be touching people, because if I have the business that I'm doing and I'm employing people, that means I'm creating jobs. You're touching one family. You find the small money you pay to someone, that's the money they eat, the money where they can buy food from, the money where they can get basic needs from. So as long as you're touching one or two lives, then you're doing absolutely the best. I'm really happy and grateful to hear your sharing. Please, may God bless you. Continue doing more and more. People may not appreciate some of the people, but people that you've touched really know who you are. I'm really happy and grateful. I can't wait to see you. You have been in Uganda. I even doubt Conrad, if Conrad. Have you seen her, Conrad?
Yes, yes. And I have. Oh, I haven't met Conrad yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting him. I'll be there September 13th to 26th, Conrad. So we're going to have to definitely connect while I'm there for sure.
Perfect, perfect.
Wonderful, wonderful.
That is really good. And then, okay, Simon, blessings. You are a very big man. You can even give credit to yourself. It's
Thank
not
you.
easy. You see, most people around, when they see a white person from Europe or from somewhere, their mentality or the first thing they think about is money, money. Seeing this person, so I have to drill money, drill money. It's not easy to get someone you can really work with and they are honest. So Kira, you're blessed to have Simon, and also Simon,
Yeah.
keep up, because I'm so sure that what you've done is absolutely the best. Please keep up and do more. I wish you all the best. Please enjoy your evening, all of you. I'm so happy
Thank
and
you.
glad.
And I want to encourage you, Eddie, that, something always adds to something. My husband, I actually said I'd love to have Stuart come on here sometime as a Ugandan and speak to them about business. He started, same thing. I mean, horrible. He was abandoned at 3 weeks old by his biological mother. His stepmom and dad and uncles abused him. I mean, bad, like hung him upside down from trees, treated him like a human, baseball bat with a baseball bat. I mean, numerous scars and, just horrific abuse. I mean, horror movie abuse. And, God took him from the pit to the palace. And I mean, he just keeps saying, Abtech, he went to Abtech University there and took his computer engineering. I'm coming for you. And he had that brochure in his hand for 7 years, Eddie, before he ever got to go to Abtech. And he would say for 7 years, Abtech, I'm coming for you. I'm going to school. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. And, eventually some lady from Illinois came and said, I feel like God told me I'm supposed to pay for your school fees, and he ended up going to school, getting his computer engineering degree. And I mean, I'm thankful for that as his wife, as a Mzungu wife, that I was able to marry a Ugandan that had an education that could come to Canada and get a job. But it took 7 years of walking by that school every single day and say, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm going to get an education. And, he literally came from nothing. And now his family, that abused him horribly are all, coming to him and he's forgiven them. Forgiveness was huge. He's totally forgiven them. His dad, his uncles, his brothers, his sisters, everybody. And they're seeing how successful he's been. And now they're turning around and asking questions. And so when you're successful, Eddie, and when you do what you're called to do, whatever business that looks like, people are going to turn around to you and say, you know what? We did this guy wrong, and they're going to apologize, and they're going to ask you for the strategic keys they need to come where you've become. So I want to encourage you with that.
That's another good.
Because personally, something that you people don't know about me, and something that I've never shared either to media or to anyone. I've grown up from a very toxic environment where relatives don't really like the kids. So when we lost our parents, both of them, like you find relatives, uncles, hey, we are going to take care of you. We are going to do this. We are going to do that. And yet no one actually turns up. But one thing that I got in my mind is that once you're born, once you are in this world, you're there alone. You're there absolutely alone. Because when you are moving and you knock like a stone, the person you're moving with will not feel your pain. You will feel it alone inside. So when I thought about that, I believed in myself. I didn't hear actually anyone. You see, there is a friend of mine who told me that I'm somehow big-headed because I take time to borrow someone's idea. You see, when people give you lots of ideas, they are in your head, you even fail to decide. Someone may give you an idea, but you still have your idea. The idea people will not believe in. But when you have hopes and you think you can do it, a small beginning surely leads you to where you are. That's why I always celebrate my small achievements. Something small I win like this, I'm happy because I know what it means not to win. I have been there when I'm not winning, I'm losing, I'm gloomy, I'm sad, I'm so on. So something very, very small that really makes me happy. If I do something small and I see it has really affected some group of people, I'm just happy. Of course, in a positive way. So these stories really, they always put us far, they inspire us a lot, because someone who is nothing will work double someone with everything. That's why you find someone who has everything tends to reach a point and they are static. You have a car, you have Mercedes, you have a good house, you have business, money is flowing. Then you reach at that point, you say, let me stop there. But someone who has been having nothing, every time they have something, they want another one. They want another one. They keep wanting, they keep wanting. So with that,
Eddie Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you for that word, man. I appreciate it very much. But Bonath has had his hand up for a while, and Conrad needs to say something. So let's go to Bonath.
All right. I'm glad to be here, and thank you, as a Mama Killer, for such a great presentation. And it's really good for me to learn as a young person who is looking to help my community also. It was a really great lesson to learn how to build a strong community. I thank you for the building a strong team. And that is one of the hardest things that we always find, most especially, as Eddie has said, that you're a foreigner and you have the people you can trust here back. For example, so salute David for the job well done, for being trustworthy. That is one thing I've failed to identify my people. You find like it's always also hard to find people with the same common goal. For example, when I was starting with a friend, he was so money-minded, and we ended up parting. That's why I don't have activities going on, because my partner was so money-minded, and when you could raise some money, is toward enriching himself, and because he doesn't know my story and share my common goal. We have different goals. It's about making money, which is not bad, but my purpose was to change and build communities. So thank you. I thank God for you helping you to find people with the same common goal, who are trustworthy, and they have worked together with you to transform the communities in Guru and North Uganda. Thank you so much. May really God bless you. And the thing of $1, start with that $1. Most people here in Uganda, they say they are always some memes going on the internet, like who told the monkey to beat the lion? You know, they're like, who is that motivational speaker that inspired it? That it's impossible. But I believe it's possible to start with $1 and transform the community. As long as your purpose-driven goal, God will add on to you people who will carry up with your goal and bless you and transform the community and the people. May God bless you. Thank you, Conrad, for the invite. Thank you. Thank you, bro. May God bless you so much. Thank you, Stanley. Thank you, everyone. May God love you. May God bless you for me. I remain Bonath.
All right. Thank you for that word. I appreciate it. Let's go to Conrad there.
Yes, thank you so very much. I'm really so touched. It has been so much that I didn't expect. Personally, I've had Simon. Simon has been my friend. He has already shared everything. Eric, you need to mute your mic.
You're breaking up for some reason on us.
Okay, thank you, Eric. So I was telling you that I've shared with Simon. I've seen what Simon has been doing. I didn't know that he has really done past this. My expectations were just limited to something that I knew maybe there is a school, but I didn't know that there is even a big farm. Personally, I feel like I should even visit that place one time, because what motivates us most of the times, it is what we have seen physically. We all have dreams. Last Monday, when we were doing the educational missions trainings at Butavika, what happened first, Paul was doing his presentation, and what he started with was, we all have our personal fears, but what are those fears? When you're still young, most of us used to fear cars. Most of us used to fear dogs. Most of us used to fear several things, but these are the fears that we had. But at some point, we overcame these fears. Right now, we don't fear the dog, we don't fear the cat. In the beginning, when you're starting up something, it is always so hard for you to begin because you have those fears. I personally don't know how Madam Karen started this big project in Uganda. It is a very huge project to start in Uganda specifically. And like Edwin said, I'll not quote his words, but he said, most people here in Uganda, when they see that color, like a white, they will always want to get money from them. And this is what has made us fail most of the times. Because if you see someone, then you expect money from them. But if someone sees that you're so money-minded, then they will not give you the opportunity. Even when they wanted to invest something, maybe through you, then you will be able to fail. Simon has been a very good example that we can use here. He has been that person who has allowed someone to come in, and then he has given that someone all the opportunities to invest in Uganda. This is something we praise the Lord for. I personally feel like Simon has done a great job, and someone investing here in Uganda, it is not so bad, it is not so hard, it is not so easy. To give you one scenario, starting up a school, and people don't pay school fees here in Uganda. We have something like that in Uganda, but people still pay school fees. You may pay little money, but you pay school fees. But if you tell me someone is just going to school, they find everything, that teacher is there, they're using the whiteboards or markers, or they're even using the blackboards. That is something we really bless the Lord for. It is not something easy to deal with, and it is not something easy to do. I don't know where the funds come from, but what we know is when you have started up something, trust me, it is going to grow. So what we can do is we just need to eliminate all these fears that we have. If you want to start up a business, like how she was sharing and then talking about the beekeeping, then Simon says they are now making a road to the school. Like, you see everything is moving so smoothly, but we don't know what time is invested in there. I just quoted some of the things that she said. She said strong leadership, willingness to work as a team, accountability and integrity, documentation of everything, working towards a common goal, set goals, long-term and short-term. Have a goal, write it down, everything is possible. These are some of the things that I really wrote down, and I feel like they are so important in my life. Personally, I use not to document, I use not to write everything I've done. When I got my TIN number, the tax identification number here in Uganda, I realized I need to write every coin that I spend, even if it's 100 that I've spent every day, I write it down. I started giving in reports to people. So whoever person I work with, every end of the month, I make sure I give in reports. And that is documentation, because you can never fail or you can never lag behind when you're documenting everything. I feel like I've learned a lot from her, and I can't wait to meet her, and then we can share ideas. Thank you, and thank you so very much.
Thank you very kindly. I appreciate that. All right. Let me see if my wife has anything that she wants to input. Eric, I know that I saw you had unmuted a little while ago. I didn't know if you wanted to have something to say here real quick. Let's go ahead and have Eric say something, then we'll come to you, honey.
Yep. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm very grateful and excited to this presentation for Madam Kerry. For sure, the presentation was very great and I learned a lot. I would like only to take this opportunity to just share a little bit about also my success or my success story. I'm a Congolese by nationality and a refugee by status, living in a refugee camp called Nachi Valley Refugee Settlement. And I reached here, it was 2014, where I came with my brothers, three and one lady. And now we are four here. But the life, which as you know, refugee life is not good. We face a lot, but because I was having a passion, I was having something. Then I started learning slow, this little English, which can help me to make something big and change this community. Because here education natively, it was very bad. You can see even here a refugee which is a street kid. They don't know how to go to school. Eating is very difficult. But from that side, because I started preaching or acting movies, I started acting movies, education movies. I take the footage. When edited, I present it to UNCR. Then they gave me an opportunity to make a documentary for MTI because of health and sanitation. I work with Samizi in different field of documentaries. From there, I said, no, I can do something because many people, here in Akival, they don't have a screen, they don't have where to see what I'm doing. Then every month I was projecting in the community the sketch which we have played, we have acting. I invite like some staffs from UN, OPM. They come, they participate, they contribute ideas. Then we go back one time in the month. But I didn't quite from there. I start now mobilize people in the community, children at my place. They come. I invite some of my elders, the one who knows English than me. They start now teaching them. The little one I was having, I motivate them like a motivation. I motivate them because I was Samizi hired me like someone who is in the field of media. Then when I get something, I motivate the teachers. Then from there, I got an idea to open a pharmacy. I opened a pharmacy, then I put something in the pharmacy just to generate income, to see how I can afford this project of Changia. Then I came up with Changia in 2016. It was in August. I came up. I start now. I live at home. Then I rent a house where I was paying. From 2016 up to in 2021, I get a plot where I constructed two hall. That's the small one. For I put there 3 classroom. We continue with my team together. I create some different skills like entrepreneurship. I create another thing which we call it like task technology access service. It was for it is a computer science. Then we came up with that idea. Up to now, we have got now a big space where OPM give us the place by free. They give us. We construct a beautiful house here. It is 13 to 18 meter. Just a big hall and an office. And maybe in Thursday we shall finish the pit latrine to see how we can continue to extend the building because the place is very big, and we have to provide classes because of the children. The class is not enough. We have to add with the little one we are having, but because the education is for free, we don't cost anything. We provide only for free, and we give them even the food.
like a feeding program, because here in Nachi Valley, when it reach at noon time, the children go back at home. When they go back, they cannot come back to say no. They come to learn again. They cannot.
Eric, we're losing your volume. Eric.
Yes.
That's better.
Yes. Yes.
That's better.
Yes. Are we together?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. I was saying when when it reach at noon time, the children they have to go back at home. But when reach at home, they cannot go come back at school because they are hungry. Then from there, we decided to start a feeding program where we cook, we prepare food like rice and beans every day. We give them at lunchtime, then they can get a break at 2 p.m. They will start again, studying up to 4:30. Then they go back at home. And this procedure, it is now 7 months. We are in that procedure without quitting. Even if we are pushing with the little one, we are getting from communities, from people who have a passion to donate to this community. We're still pushing, and that is why when I understand the presentation of Madam, for sure, it has touched me, because giving or investing in the community, it is something of passion. Someone who's not passionate in the community cannot work, because you are giving, but you are expecting big for changing all the community. And that was my excited. I was just need to say thank you for the presentation, and thank you for everyone who participated in this meeting. Thank you.
Eric, sorry, can you tell me again what Congolese refugee camp are you in?
Nachi Valley.
Lachi.
Nachi Valley Refugee Settlement.
Okay. Simon, is that the one that we're in doing a feeding program in with Godfrey and Hafasha?
Sorry?
I'll connect with you afterwards.
I don't think that's the one.
Okay, I know we're doing a feeding program in one of the Congolese refugee camps up by past Masaka. There's somewhere where we're feeding 500 kids every Saturday with Godfrey, Tinka, and Hafasha somebody, but we're trying to start partnering with them in the refugee camps, but I'll connect with you privately through Stan or Simon or whoever afterwards, I guess.
Yeah, we'll make sure you get that information. Thank you, Kara.
Awesome, thank
That
you.
will be a big benefit to him. He's another Simon, okay, in that they're taking responsibility, and he's been working at this thing for quite some time. They just finished up their school building themselves there, and just got the latrines all put in this week. Actually, they're finishing up the latrines and things along those lines. And one of the most important messages you brought to us is, take that $1. Okay, just start with what we got and work forward. And that's why each and every one of the people that are here have been able to accomplish, is because they move forward, with what we have. Okay, and we can't necessarily we can't sit back and wait until we have 10 million shillings to get started, or 100 million shillings, whatever we need. We need to get started with what we have. We're way over time right now, but that's a blessing. This has been all recorded, of course, and what Conrad will do is he will take and create your message into a particular video for us, and he'll create some others, so he'll send some things out to you. I appreciate you being here so much. I know you had a lot of activities, a lot of people pulling on you on the outside there, Kara, but
Yes,
you
thank
made
you for having me.
a big difference. And at this point, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Make sure that you continue to contact with Conrad. Don't forget that we've got all of that educational information on the website there. We got Khan Academy, Kara, are you familiar with Khan Academy?
No, I'm not, but I'm gonna have to learn about it for sure.
Because I learned it from my wife, okay, and it was a homeschooling, and it takes it from kindergarten all the way through, and it really provides just an unbelievable amount of things.
Yeah.
They got college courses, but they got courses for kids, and where I think it's probably going to come in the best is training the teachers, getting the teachers to know what they need to know, because I'm sure there's a
Yes.
lot of teachers out there that don't really know third grade math like they should know third grade math, or, you know, what we would look at.
Well, absolutely. And you guys use those resources that Stan's talking about, and Angela, to your, I even told Simon, get on Pinterest, man. There's a million ideas on Pinterest. You all have phones or computers, get on these things. And all it takes is one idea, and one idea can make millions.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we've got to do. People got to think for themselves, okay, and move forward through a planning process. Guys, thank you so very much. I appreciate all you folks that are faithful. AR, I'm not sure who you are. We're glad to have you with us. I saw a gentleman by the name of Mike that hasn't been there, but guys, I appreciate y'all's faithfulness. I appreciate y'all taking notes and being able to take this information. And yes, I've got a full page of notes myself here. You can see that Kara brought us lots of words of wisdom this morning here. So thank you so very much for that, guys. Okay. We're right here available for you. Reach out to Conrad anytime that you need something, and we'll continue to move forward. So thank you guys. Any closing comments?
Feel free to add me on Facebook if you would like to continue, or you want conversation, or my website, you can reach out to me through that as well, which is www.lovemadeawayministries.com. Or on Facebook, it's Kira Mitchell Melindwa. And I'm friends with Stan on Facebook. You can find me through that, and Angela as well. And so, yeah, just connect. Let's help each other succeed.
Is it okay if we list that up on our website? That contact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I love to help people succeed in their visions. So.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a blessing. Let's everybody wave goodbye. All right.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.